This is why Sydney Sweeney is getting backlash. Let's talk about it. For her mother's 60th birthday, she posted this picture. In the background of the picture, you can see that one person's wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt, and some are even wearing this hat, Make 60 Great Again, a reference to MAGA, and this created a whole bunch of controversy of people accusing her family of being Trump supporters. She responded with this tweet: "You guys, this is wild. An innocent celebration for my mom's milestone 60th birthday has turned into an absurd political statement."
Listen, we need to talk about what's really been going on behind the scenes of Euphoria, because honestly, the drama off camera might be messier than anything we've seen on screen. And I'm not even exaggerating. After 3 years of waiting for season 3, the tea that's been spilling about what happened between filming is absolutely unhinged. From alleged feuds between the cast and creator to people straight up walking away from the show, this whole situation has been a complete roller coaster. So buckle up, because what I'm about to tell you is genuinely wild.
Let's talk about your character, Nate. Nate's coming back. Is it true that you were nervous about playing Nate again?
They told me that I said that.
Yeah, but so you did not say that.
I mean, I might have said it.
If you did say it, hypothetically, why would you be nervous about bringing Nate back?
I would say I'm nervous anytime I step on a film set for the first sort of every day of making it. I'm always nervous.
That's probably a good sign, I would guess.
That's what they try to say, but it doesn't feel like a good sign.
Yeah.
Let's start with the biggest bombshell. You know how everyone loves Zendaya and Sam Levinson's partnership, right? Like, they made Malcolm and Marie together during the pandemic. They were supposedly super close. And Euphoria literally made Zendaya a 2-time Emmy winner. Well, that relationship apparently went from besties to barely speaking, and the whole thing is honestly heartbreaking. Here's what happened. So back in 2022, Season 2 ends on this massive cliffhanger, and fans are hyped for Season 3. But then, nothing. Radio silence for months, and people started noticing that Sam Levinson suddenly pivoted to working on The Idol with The Weeknd, instead of focusing on Euphoria. That show, by the way, was a complete disaster. It got dragged by critics, had a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, and got cancelled after 1 season. But here's where it gets messy. According to sources who spoke to The Hollywood Reporter, Zendaya was absolutely furious that Sam was spending all his time and energy on The Idol when he hadn't even finished the scripts for Euphoria Season 3. Like, she's the star and executive producer of the show, and she's just sitting there waiting while he's off doing this other project. It got so bad that Zendaya actually called a meeting with HBO executives Casey Bloys and Francesca Orsi, demanding to know why they let Sam work on another show when Euphoria was basically left hanging. And honestly, I get it. If you're Zendaya and you've won 2 Emmys for this role, and the show is HBO's second biggest hit after Game of Thrones, you'd probably be frustrated too. But wait, it gets worse. When The Idol premiered, Rolling Stone published this bombshell article about the toxic work environment on that set, with crew members calling it things I literally can't repeat on this channel. And Zendaya, whose image is absolutely pristine, suddenly found herself associated with all that drama just because she worked with Sam on Euphoria. Sources said she was genuinely worried that fans would turn on her because of Sam's reputation. One executive even said her image is spotless, and people were literally telling her to distance herself from him. The relationship between them reportedly got so strained that HBO had to schedule multiple crisis meetings to try and patch things up. But according to insiders, those meetings didn't really work. One source literally said they went from being so close to not being able to fix it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some people in Sam's camp started pushing back, saying actually, the delays were because Zendaya was dragging her feet because she wanted to focus on her movie career. And honestly, between Dune Part 2 and Challengers, she's been booked and busy. But Zendaya shut that down real quick in her Vanity Fair interview, saying she's been off for a couple years and literally just waiting. She was like, "I've been open, just waiting, so don't put this on me." The good news? By early 2025, HBO confirmed production was finally starting, and sources said there's at least the beginning of a thaw between them. So maybe they worked it out? But the damage was definitely done. And you can't tell me that whole situation didn't affect the vibe of Season 3.
Unfortunately for Sydney Sweeney, the internet is forever, and the old tweets that she had liked about Tom Holland have been dug up. There have been lots of blinds about these two over the years, saying that Sydney Sweeney did not like Zendaya, she was trash-talking her. Now, part of that reasoning is people believe that Sydney Sweeney wants Zendaya's man, she wants Tom Holland. So I went digging and I found the tweets for you. This was back in 2021. Mind you, Zendaya and Tom started officially dating in 2021. He was coming to visit her regularly on set, on Euphoria set. So Sydney knew he was there to see Zendaya. She was allegedly on Twitter liking tweets about it. And when that's your coworker's man that you see him coming to see her every day on set, I think that's a little crazy. Girl is so Cassie-coded in real life. She took that role seriously. She wanted to method act Cassie, I guess, and try and steal her coworker's boyfriend. Obviously didn't work, because look at the way that Tom looks at Zendaya.
Okay, but the Zendaya drama isn't even the only major behind-the-scenes mess. Let's talk about Barbie Ferreira, because her exit from the show was absolutely chaotic and honestly kind of sad. So during season 2, fans started noticing that Kat, Barbie's character, had way less screen time than season 1. Like, she went from having this really interesting storyline about self-confidence and sexuality to barely being in some episodes. And people immediately started speculating that something was going on behind the scenes. Then, in January 2022, this anonymous tip got sent to Dumois, saying that Barbie was not vibing with Sam's vision for season 2, and that she got into it with him on set and walked off one day, and he cut a lot of her lines as retaliation. Then, the Daily Beast published a report saying production sources confirmed she walked off set at least twice after disagreements with Sam about her character's direction. The internet absolutely exploded. People were saying Sam was being petty, that he didn't know how to write for plus-size women, all kinds of stuff. And honestly, when you compare Kat's arc in season 1 to season 2, it's kind of obvious something changed. In season 1, she was discovering herself and having this whole journey. And then in season 2, she's barely there. And when she is, she's self-sabotaging for no clear reason. Barbie initially shut down the walk-off rumors in March 2022, saying a lot of what was being reported was untrue. She was like, I did sprain my ankle once and had to get an x-ray, maybe that's what they mean? But then in August 2022, completely out of nowhere, on a random Wednesday night, Barbie posted on Instagram that she was leaving the show. She wrote this really emotional goodbye to Kat, saying after 4 years, she was saying a teary-eyed goodbye to the character. The timing was suspicious as hell. Why announce you're leaving 8 months after the rumors, right after saying you hoped to see more of Kat in season 3? Like, something clearly happened. It wasn't until 2023, when Barbie went on the Armchair Expert podcast, that she finally explained what really went down. She said her exit was a mutual decision between her and Sam, and that there was just nowhere for Kat to go story-wise. She also said something really revealing. She talked about not wanting to be the fat best friend anymore, and that she didn't think Sam knew where to take the character because he couldn't relate to her the way he could relate to other characters. She literally said Sam writes for things he relates to, and I don't think he relates to Kat. I relate to Kat. And honestly, that explains so much. It sounds like Sam didn't know how to continue Kat's story in a way that felt authentic, and rather than collaborate with Barbie on it, they just kind of wrote her out. Which is unfortunate, because Kat was such a unique character that we don't really see on TV. The whole situation just highlights how complicated things got on set, and how creative differences turned into people literally leaving the show.
Tom Holland.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I really feel like we just need Spider-Man to come in and save the day. East Highland's up.
A crossover episode.
Yeah, crossover. Euphoria meets the MCU.
I don't know how Disney would feel about that, but yeah.
But wait, there's more. Because it's not just about feuds between specific people. There were actual reports about the work environment on Euphoria being problematic for everyone involved. The Daily Beast published this investigation during season 2, where background actors came forward with some pretty serious complaints. They said they weren't given meals on time, weren't allowed to use the bathroom during long shoots, and were working like 14-hour days regularly. Multiple complaints were apparently filed with SAG-AFTRA, which is the actors' union. And that's not something people do lightly. The report also said that a big part of the problem was that Sam Levinson didn't use shot lists. A shot list is basically a document that directors make before filming that breaks down exactly what they're going to shoot and how. Without one, everyone on set is basically just waiting around while the director figures out what they want to do, in real time, which makes days drag on forever and creates this chaotic environment. HBO denied the allegations, saying they were in full compliance with all safety guidelines and guild protocols. But multiple sources confirmed the long hours and disorganized shoots were a real issue. And when you combine that with Sam also allegedly being really intense with actors to get emotional performances, you can see why some cast members might have been stressed. Hunter Schafer even talked about this on the Call Her Daddy podcast in 2025, saying returning for season 3 was going to be tough after everything that happened. she literally broke down talking about losing people they loved, referring to Angus Cloud, who tragically passed away, and producer Kevin Turin, who also died. She said it's hard to talk about all that's happened behind the scenes. The whole vibe just sounds exhausting, honestly. Like, yes, Euphoria is an intense show with heavy subject matter, but there's a difference between the content being intense and the actual work environment being unnecessarily stressful.
I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean, the president tweeted about the jeans ad.
It was surreal.
It was surreal. And it would be totally human. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back in public, you know, and conveniently some very powerful people had my back in public. And I wondered if you felt that way.
I don't think that it's not that that feeling I didn't have that feeling, but I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it. I kind of just put my phone away. I don't really see a lot of it.
But the risk is that, you know, there's a chance that somebody will get some idea about what you think about certain issues. Like, do you worry about that?
No.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
So with all this drama happening, it makes sense that Season 3 got delayed for literally 3 years. But let's break down everything that contributed to this mess, because it's honestly a perfect storm of chaos. First, you had the 2023 writer's strike and actor's strike, which shut down basically all of Hollywood for months. That affected every show, not just Euphoria. But then you add in Sam being distracted by The Idol, the tension with Zendaya, Barbie leaving, and suddenly you've got a show that can't seem to get its act together. Then tragedy struck. Angus Cloud, who played Fezco and was genuinely beloved by everyone, died of an accidental overdose in July 2023 at just 25 years old. The entire cast was devastated. And then Kevin Turin, one of the executive producers who was apparently really important to keeping things organized, died in November 2023 at 44 from heart issues. Those losses hit everyone hard, and I think it's important to remember that behind all this drama, there are real people dealing with real grief. When filming finally did start in February 2025, there were reports that some cast members were hesitant to come back. Not because they didn't want to, but because filming Euphoria is emotionally exhausting. The gaps between seasons have been massive, and there was apparently some push for more structure on set this time around. Sources said some actors didn't want to return unless real changes were made to make production more professional and less chaotic. The fact that scripts were literally redacted when sent to cast members tells you everything about how secretive they're being this season. Sydney Sweeney even said she has no idea what Rue or Maddie's storylines look like, because everyone's scenes are being kept completely separate. That's wild. It really sounds like HBO has this season on complete lockdown to prevent any leaks, which honestly makes sense after all the drama.
Zendaya also pointed out that although she had 2 major movie releases this year with Dune Part 2 and Challengers, she filmed those back in 2022, meaning that all of 2023 and 2024, she was open to film the show. There was also another claim back in July that Zendaya had shot down multiple storylines for her character Rue, but here she seems to deny that. She states, "Euphoria is slated for January, I believe. I haven't read anything yet, but I'm excited to see what everyone has been working on and what the future looks like for Euphoria. I don't really have much of an answer, except for right now it's set to start shooting in January." I'm just gonna take a wild yet educated guess here and say it's not Zendaya's schedule that's holding up season 3 of Euphoria, but rather it's probably Sam Levinson who hasn't finished the scripts yet.
So here's where we're at now. Filming wrapped in November 2025, and season 3 is officially set to premiere in April 2026. That's almost 4 years after season 2 ended, which is absolutely insane for a show this popular. The cast that's returning includes Zendaya, Jacob Elordi, Sydney Sweeney, Hunter Schafer, Alexa Demi, and Maud Apatow. But we're also losing some key people. Storm Reid confirmed her character Gia isn't coming back, which is huge because she's Rue's sister. Barbie's obviously not returning as Kat, and we've lost Angus Cloud and his character Fez, which is going to hit different when we watch. The season is apparently jumping forward 5 years, showing everyone post-college and dealing with adult life. From what's been leaked, Rue is supposedly living in Mexico, dealing with some dark stuff. Cassie and Nate are engaged and getting married, which sounds like an absolute disaster waiting to happen, Jules is at art school struggling with anxiety. Maddie's in Hollywood working at a talent agency, and Lexi's working under a showrunner played by Sharon Stone. They've also added a bunch of new cast members, including Natasha Lyonne, Danielle Deadweiler, and even Trisha Paytas, which is a choice. Hans Zimmer is scoring the season alongside Labyrinth, which tells you they're going for something different this time. But honestly, with everything that's happened behind the scenes, I think we need to go into this season with realistic expectations. Yes, the drama and creative tension might translate into some really intense television, but there's also a chance that all this chaos affected the final product. Some fans are calling this either the comeback of the decade or the moment the show completely crashes out, and there's really no middle ground.
I just saw the news that Zendaya did renegotiate her contract, and she is on track to being one of the highest paid actresses in TV right now. And this is just me speculating, but it seems like that Rolling Stones article just blindsided a lot of people, including her. What's funny is that she has to know. Again, if the allegations about Sam Levinson since Euphoria and now The Idol are true, she has to know that. She is getting favoritism. Euphoria is basically, the good parts of Euphoria are all about Rue. And given that she is now a producer and executive producer on Euphoria, I hope she will intervene when needed and make everyone else's lives on set much easier.
At this point, it's clear that Euphoria has always lived in chaos, on screen and behind the scenes. The only difference now is that the off-camera drama is starting to feel just as big as the show itself. Whether all these creative clashes and tension end up elevating Season 3 or completely derailing it, we won't really know until April 2026. What I do know is that everyone attached to this project has been through a lot. Loss, pressure, massive fame, and expectations that honestly feel impossible to live up to. And no matter how this season lands, I genuinely hope they find some peace on the other side of it. But I want to hear from you guys. Are you still excited for Season 3 after everything that's come out? Or has this behind-the-scenes drama changed how you see the show? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you made it this far, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss my coverage when the premiere finally drops. Because something tells me that's going to be a whole situation. Alright, I'll catch you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye!